Nancy!
What?
Oh, there you are. You ain't gonna believe it. You know all them little bean seeds I planted last week and they were just starting to pop up? Birds just ate every single one of them. Glad you stopped by. Today we're starting a new series on how to direct sow your seeds into the garden and some of the challenges that are associated with that. And this is the first video of a series of them. We're going to cover how to actually plant the seed and the progression of that plant after it emerges and how it grows up, how the fruit comes, the blooms, everything about that plant until it's all the way up ready to harvest. And at that point we'll end that video and we'll start another video on how to actually do the harvest of that vegetable, and in some of them cases actually harvest it and come in the kitchen and put it in the pot. My favorite part. But today I wanted to talk to you about some of the challenges that are associated with direct sowing your seeds in your garden. One of them is when that little seed first emerges, and it's, for example, a bean seed. That bean seed that you planted will germinate, swell, and split. And when it comes up with the new seedling. It rises up out of the ground and leaves come off of that. And then it continues to grow. But when it first comes up, those two halves of that bean seed are hanging right on that little tiny seedling about this big. And God made the birds and squirrels so smart that they know that bean is on that little tiny plant. They've seen them sprout before, so they're not dumb. And as soon as they see those beans trying to come through the ground, a lot of times you'll see a jaybird, a blue jay, he'll be out there pulling the whole plant up out of the ground, trying to get to that seed before somebody else gets it. And believe me, they will eat every bean seed or every seed that you got out there in time, because once they get a taste in their mouth for it and they know where it is, they're gonna be back every day until it's completely gone. So we got to do something to try to deter the birds, and there's a couple of things that birds don't like, which is the part that makes us smarter than the bird, right? So God made us pretty smart too. Well, especially Nancy, me not so much. But anyway, birds don't like metal objects. They don't like the reflection of an object that is shiny. That makes them nervous. Birds are skittish, and if they see something that startles them, they're going to leave. They also don't like movement, any kind of movement around. They are skittish about that, so movement startles them. And also a metallic clanking sound, any kind of metal sound or clink clink like that, any kind of clinking sound from metallic objects is startling to them as well. So today we want to try to combine those three elements on a simple fix that maybe will slow down some of the bird activity. Nothing's going to stop at 100%, but at least we'll try to take some steps to preserve our baby plants. First thing I want to show you is just a plain old CD. This is a CD Nancy was going to throw away, so I scrounged it out of the garbage can, and I drilled me a little teeny hole in it right here, and I put me an old fishing swivel on it with a little piece of fishing line So this can, and I'll suspend this in my garden so it's shiny and it reflects the sun, and it moves in the wind. It'll move in the wind and it'll spin and shine, making those reflections everywhere, and that's something that will help. So I'm going to put some of these out in my garden and suspend them a couple of feet above the seedlings before they emerge. So I want to put this out in advance. Another thing that I like to do is I use a simple pie pan. Once Nancy makes that strawberry pie and I lick the plate clean, I save it. And this is it. Now, this again is a simple thing to do. Is I took a nail and I tied a piece of string on it, and I stuck me a little hole in here, and I tied that nail on there so it's hanging right there in that pan. And I stuck me another fishing swivel right here with a little piece of fishing line, and I'm going to suspend this up into above the seedlings as well. So when this catches wind and it moves, every now and then that nail hits it. Okay? And they don't like that. And the wind moves it, it spins, it makes a noise, it's shiny, reflection. It's got it all. It's a total package. So we like that. And I'm going to put some of these out in the garden and suspend them above the seedlings. The thing about this is I'm OCD, and I can't stand things like this. It's not organized. It's not in perfect lines. It's not, you know how it is. If you're anything like me, I can't stand it. But the good thing about this is I only have to put up with this for about 3 weeks, because those seedlings will come up, and in 3 weeks time they're going to be this big, and that beans already fell off, and that plant's good and strong, and no longer do the birds care about the plants. They might want to pick on other things like strawberries and tomatoes when they turn red. Anything that turns red they're going to get. So for now, once my seedlings emerge and they get up about 3 weeks old, I can take all this stuff down and I don't have to look at it anymore. So let's step out in the garden and let me show you an example of how we have suspended these ugly things in our garden to ward off them evil birds and squirrels. We got them now. Suspend these above the garden. I'll let them stay out here, and all this movement, and hear some of that clanking once in a while. That's perfect. Keep the birds just nervous enough to where they don't want to hang around too long. So that's how I do it, and I can't wait to take them down, but that's what we got to live with for now. So if you look right over here behind me, here's another thing you can do. This is Oscar the owl. You can get these at any nursery. Fill them up with dirt, and the wind catches his head and turns his head a little bit, and that makes birds and squirrels nervous, because he got a sharp tooth on him here. He'll get them. Anyway, they know what that is, and they're not going to hang around long enough to make sure, but it's just enough to make them nervous. That's all we're trying to do, is make them nervous enough to leave. Okay? Last year I had some awful problems with rabbits coming in the yard, and they would come in and just have a feast in my garden, and heartbreaking. So I ended up putting up a rabbit barrier fence, and if you'll take a look, you can see what we did. We got a video on this. It's nothing but chicken wire, and it's attached it to up to my landscape timbers around the bottom of the garden, and it surrounds the entire perimeter. That is the #1 deterrent for rabbits. That stops them. Also the raccoons and things like that that come around, they don't like to climb something that's flimsy like that. A flimsy fence, they won't mess with it. So it's just enough to keep the rabbits at bay. Then we got the rabbits under control. Then here comes the most evil of all, Mr. Squirrel. He's very intelligent. He can figure out ways around anything. But what we do is we try to take some steps to at least slow him down. And one of the things I did was we make pepper spray. And there's also, we have a video on our channel, I think it's called Garden Tip number 4. It's either 4 or 5, one of those, but one's the rabbit fence and one's how to make the rabbit pepper spray, which is a repellent for rabbits, but it also works for squirrels because it's full of garlic, and squirrels hate the smell of garlic too. So you can spray that spray around in your garden area, and that works great. Now if it rains or your irrigation comes on, then you need to go back and spray it again because it washes off. But as long as that spray is there, the rabbits and squirrels, they kind of stay away from it. Now the other thing last thing I want to show you is on the squirrel protection is they tend to climb. They're excellent climbers, and they climb my little fence, my little rabbit fence, and they can actually run down a little 12-gauge wire that I have running across all the way around this thing, and they can just run up and down that at will. So I put in an electric fence that will not hurt the squirrel. It gives a slight jolt that when they touch this top wire here, it shocks them just enough to where they startle, they run back, and they are so smart that it doesn't take long, and they know, hey, don't touch that fence. And I have put this up last year, and those squirrels hit that fence 5 or 6 times, and I haven't had squirrels in the garden since. So it's a good deterrent. It's solar powered. I can leave it out here all the time, and it's only hot on the top wire, so when the squirrel climbs up, he gets hit. It's not enough to hurt children or yourself or even the little squirrel. It's just enough to make him remember it. So that's pretty much the tips on what to watch out for when we're doing our direct sowing, and we're looking forward to bringing those videos to you in the days ahead. So if you like our videos, I sure hope you're going to subscribe to our channel, because we've got several of these coming out ahead. In the days ahead, I think you'll find them pretty informative. And also, if you like to follow on Facebook, we have a Facebook page called Hollis and Nancy's Homestead. Come on over to the Facebook page and like it, and you can follow along with, we send out tips and tricks, things to do in the garden. It's a good place to talk back and forth with us and each other. And we put out little previews of things that are coming, and answer questions and that kind of stuff. So it's a good media to be involved as our family with us. So always remember, until we see you next time, by His hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day. Thanks for watching our videos. We really love making them. If you like our videos, please like our Facebook page to get the latest tips and tricks. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the newest video. Like it, it would really inspire and encourage us. But most importantly, share it to encourage others. We'll welcome your comments and questions. Thank you. Have a blessed day.